Good day. First of all, thank you, Klesarska Scholar, for inviting me to give a talk to today's symposium. I would have loved to be there personally, but sometimes the things that we want, we don't get them. So this is a second best way to communicate to you, to reach out to you. We stand in a very fast changing world in every aspects of life. How many industries do you know where the same business model has prevailed for several years, 5 or 10 years? Let it be it the world of automobile, be it the world of fashion, even the menus in the restaurants, be it shoes, be it whatever it be. Fashion changes, taste change, people want different things. People work in different things. So what happens is the companies behind all these different physical goods and trends, they too have to change the business model. Now the natural stone industry is one that has been working with the same business model for the last 30 years. How normal is that? Not at all. When there is so much of change taking place, how can we hope to continue working the same way as we have for the last 30 years? And what has been that business model? At the end of the day, the spinal cord of the natural stone industry has been get the big blocks as big as they can, get the biggest size slabs. May they be uniform, all of them, as if it was plastic. And then from these slabs, proceed to make cut-to-size tiles, whatever that you use for different applications. Yes, there are also applications in different thicknesses. In the tombstone industry, for example, or some other minority or load-bearing stone. But these are minority niche products. The core product, the core business model has been big size slabs coming from big size blocks to make whatever has to be made. What does that lead to? A lot of waste in the quarries, a lot of waste in the factories, a lot of waste in also with the fabricator. In other words, it's a wasteful model. Moreover, we also live in an age of new sensibilities. Yes, the new sensibilities mean environmental concerns, which means the quarries need to be rehabilitated once they're finished, and some creative solutions are coming out. But it also means a desire for natural products, where we should be winning. And all the technical studies that have been done regarding carbon footprint, etc., show that we should be the winners because we stand out well. And there are speakers in this conference who will talk about these issues. But we are also in the age of copycats. Copycats. We are in the age when the porcelain industry, with its technological innovations, is coming out with 3.2 by 1.6 slabs in 6 millimeter thin in thousands, in unlimited quantities. On an average, a typical factory in porcelain is bringing out up to 6,000 square meters of slabs per day. Just one. And there are factories in Italy, in Spain, and a very large number in India, and who knows where else they will come from. In other words, the business model that we have thrived on for over the last 3 decades is clearly under threat, with so much of copycats inundating the market. Let's also not forget that about 2 decades ago, or 3 decades ago, there were about 50 stones in the international market. Today, 15,000, perhaps 20,000, we don't know. The industry has developed so much, with quarries opening in so many other countries now that did not exist on the natural stone industry map in a serious way 2 or 3 decades ago. So in an already fragmented industry, an industry with small-sized companies compared to other industries, we now have thousands more companies coming up with the same business model. Of course, the market has grown. But when you have so much of production, usually with all the ups and downs in the economies, there's bound to be a surplus. And when the copycats come with thousands, if not millions of square meters, then your business model is absolutely outdated. This is what explains why most companies are stagnant in their sales, where gross profit margins are mostly down, except for a few exceptions, which you have special decorative stones. But the industry business model is under severe threat, and it has been so for several years. We refuse to look at the reality. The tiger was approaching us, but it was too far. It isn't anymore. It's there in front of us, eating our arms and legs. We are worried now as an industry. So what do? Industries always reinvent whenever there's a need. As they say, the saying goes, reinvention comes when there is a necessity. Well, there is definitely a genuine need now. So let me throw to you a few basic questions. Why do we have to go thinner and thinner in natural stone? Just because the porcelain industry is doing so? Just because the technology allows so? Why not consider thickness as a virtue? Thick stone, we have thought in terms of more transport costs, more heavy to handle. We have not thought in terms of the versatility of natural stone, of thick stone giving us new possibilities, of the possibility of developing new applications, of the possibility of incorporating design. Once we think in a different way, then the relevant point is not big size blocks, but the relevant question that we should be asking is, what can we do with the block that is there in the quarry? Big or small? When you ask these questions, suddenly a whole new world of possibilities open up. Well, let me give you some examples, concrete examples, not because so that you don't think I'm just giving you a fantasy talk. For example, exterior furniture. You don't need big size slabs for that. They don't have to even be polished. And once you have a rugged finish, then it doesn't really matter if the spot is there or the vein is of a different kind than the customer wants. When I talk of exterior furniture, I'm talking of furniture in the garden. How many gardens are there? Hundreds of millions. Hundreds of millions of private gardens. I'm not talking of parks. I'm talking of private gardens. There's always a spring. There's always a summer. And there's always the autumn too, when one can sit outside. And what do we do most of the time? We use plastic chairs and plastic tables when we spend so much time with the families, with the friends, and I'm in our parties. But why not make these external furniture in natural stone? Why not start working closely with designers of furniture to ask them what designs we should make? It involves new distribution channels. It involves learning in making. It involves new ways of promotion. It involves doing a lot of things that we are not used to. But it is a one multi-billion-dollar application that we have not even started exploring yet. Well, some companies are already doing that. But they're not going to make a lot of noise so that other people can copy them. Then there's another application, wine holders. Now, especially in the West, there is a culture of wine. Most people drink wine in their homes. Why not make wine holders in natural stone? Infinite designs. There's an article that I have written for the magazine of this symposium. Please go through it. There are possibilities, infinite possibilities. For example, in the Middle East, which has a culture of carpets, you can make carpet made of marble. Yes, don't call it mosaics. Make it carpets. Call it carpets. And make a small flooring of the size of a carpet. With mosaics, of course. That's another application. So there are so many things that we can do. And there's not enough time for me to explain to you here. But there is no doubt about one thing. We have reached a stage in this industry where we need to rethink everything about ourselves. Not just think in terms of reducing costs, increasing productivity, substituting labor, but in terms of making finished products from the factories so they can go to the direct customer. Because there's going to be a shortage of skilled labor too. And when there is a shortage of skilled labor, it means that less interventions that take place between the manufacturer and the end customer, greater are the margins. When everything has to be rethought, there is no one solution. There is no magic wand. I don't know what product, what application is finally going to become the killer application. But one thing I am sure, natural stone has been with us since the dawn of civilization. It will not die. It will come back again in a different way. Start thinking, start rethinking. The possibilities are endless. Thank you.